Hello everyone, this is Lolly. I have Tonic Studios Craft Kit number 42 to share with you. I have not opened it yet. I know it is called Spring Wreath, so let's dig in. Okay, so we have the Craft Perfect watercolor cards. They're 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and it is 300 GSM white cold pressed. Ooh, what is this? Oh, it's the embellishment tool. It's cute. So if you're not familiar with this, it's a new tool they have come out with that it's got silicone on the end for picking up like your sequins to drop them into projects. That is cute. I wonder if this is just, oh yeah, it's really cool. And then we have the, ooh, it's a Nuvo marker. Okay, you know what? Let me see if I can find the list of what's in here. We've got the binder here. Let's see if I can find a list. Nope, not in there. Sometimes because we get these kits early, we don't get the list. No, the list is not in here. Sometimes it names everything. So I know it's a marker, and it's Hawaiian Orchid. Store upright, shake before use. The mini adhesive tape runner. Rose gold sequins. Well, they look more goldish than rosish to me, more coppery to me. And we have, oh yeah, I love this. We have embellishment mousse, and this one is what color? Peony pink. Lovely. And I am starting to fill out color charts for my Nuvo drops. This one is carnation pink. Put that over here. And then this one is silver sequins. So we've got the two sequins, the drops, the mousse, the marker, the embellishment tool, the watercolor paper, and the tape runner. So let's look in here at the papers. Ooh. Okay, so I don't have a list of what these are called, so I'm just kind of looking at these with you. But we have a mirror card first off. It's a beautiful, bright, hot pink. Wow, this is like, I can feel. This is one of their linen papers, so it's more linen weave on one side than the other. It's a cardstock. It's kind of a rose color. Look at this. They always give this specialty paper that's been embossed, and this has got a floral print on it. Beautiful. Another specialty paper. You can see it almost looks like wallpaper. Another mirror card, gold. I'm going to put those two together. Oh, I love their frosty ones. This is a frosty gold, and another linen, which is more like a sunflower, and another linen that's more like a lemon yellow. So I can see we've got a color scheme going here. Isn't that beautiful? So we have that and all the pinks and golds going on in those collections. And now let's look at the dies, because I have no idea what this looks like. Okay, first off, we have some stamps. I see spring is in the air. Live life in full bloom. Springtime. Hello, spring. We've got some flower centers. Butterflies, another flower center. Spring fever. If friends were flowers, I would pick you. The first blooms of spring always make my heart sing. Spring has sprung. Here's to lots of sunny days to come in springtime. So those are the stamps and the dies. Okay, so it's called Spring Wreath. And I do see that we've got pieces here that can go around in a wreath pattern. The butterflies, we've got flowers that we can use these centers for. Two more flowers. So you can do a layered flowers, and I see that these are actually two dies in each set. So two here, two there, and two there. I can't see what this says. Looks like it says spring. And we have this big floral spray, and we have a banner. Beautiful. Okay, and I notice the banner has a little thing right here that's sticking out. We have to figure out what that is for. So this is the set of dies. These are also two in a set here, and two in a set here, and two in a set there, so that you can do the layering. You have a background, and you can put this in the front. This is a one die here instead of a two set. So, but this looks like it's a border. Yes, it is. I see this comes off the side, so it could be the flap of a card. Very fun. Okay, let's get playing. Okay, so let's get this card started. So I'm going to have a card using this. I love this, and this is like an edge on your paper. So you'll notice that on one side, see if I can pull this up here, this has a cutting edge around the design and this one does not. So you need to pay attention to that. Put the long edge in your right hand and flip it over, and then you will know when you're cutting the bottom of your card that that is cutting the right part of it. So I have cut 3 papers here, and if you choose your papers, this card will be the bottom, this will be the middle, and this will be the topmost section on the card. And so the dimensions on that, everything is 4 3/4 high. The bottom one is 7.5 inches wide, and it's scored at 2 inches right there. The next one, which is going to be going here, is 5 inches, and this one is 4 1/4. I measured 4 1/4, but I meant to measure 5.5, so 4 1/2. So I would do 4 1/2 instead of 4 1/4 on this one, but it is up to you. So I'm going to die cut these before folding over on the score line. So with everything lined up, and I've got my score on the left side here, everything lined up, put them down, and this is where you're going to be cutting your edge. Remember, the skinny piece goes on the right. You're going to be cutting here, here, and here. Always make sure, these are pretty close in diameter, they're not quite squares, so always make sure you're cutting along that 4 3/4 inch mark side. And so the way I'm measuring it, I'm putting it down on the paper. I am lining up the die with the left side and the bottom, so I just see the die touching all those edges. Then I'm running it through, putting purple tape on it and running it through my Gemini, and I'm doing that for all 3 of these pieces. Now it doesn't quite cut 100% this way, so I take my scissors and I just snip it in the direction it's already going. And so then I will punch all these pieces out, and that's my first part. Now I'm going to make sure again that I'm cutting on the right width here. Line this one up again. Now you can do it whatever direction you want. You just have to remember how to get your other ones lined up. See how this is coming together. It's going to be so cute. And now this one, making sure I've got the right side I'm cutting. Now I can see I've got a little nudge here from my purple tape that I had on there. So I will cover that up. Okay, now I'm going to poke all these pieces out off camera. Okay, so by the way, you do not have to do this to your back card. So it's totally up to you. You'll see you'll see how this comes together, and if you don't want that, you could just leave that solid, or you can back it up on another white cardstock. So here is going to be my card like this. That's going to be, oops, this is going to go on top like that. That's going to be the card. And if you don't like this exposed, just put another piece of cardstock under it, such as white, and I'll show you. And then you will have a sturdier foundation for your card like that. And you can definitely use a different color if you don't want the white, if it's too much for you. And I'm going to look at a different color here. And I might, just to tone down the stark whiteness, use this instead. So I'm going to start by gluing this to my back. Okay, so this hinge is for gluing this on, and we're going to glue that on. We don't want to glue all the flowers because those are going to be exposed. So I'm just going to glue this panel. And now I have to look, because I cut this at 4 1/4 instead of 4 1/2, I might not like the placement of this. So I might just shave off maybe 1/8 of an inch on this side. Let's see if I like that better. Oh yeah, I like that better. Now we can glue this down solid, or we can hinge it so that it lifts up. Either way, and if I'm going to hinge it, I'll need to score it. And I'm going to score that just about, I'm going to give it 1/2 inch. I want to give that a good burnish so that it will bend for me. And I'm only going to glue that the hinge in there. And I'm going to glue it to the right of the score line and not on it. Now the other thing I did was I took this and I cut 2 of them, and I did it off of this paper right here, which was in the kit. And I'm going to make a banner that comes across the top. I cut 2 of them out, and I cut the little flangey off here, and I'm going to line this one up with the top of that. Try to get it somewhat straight, I hope, if that helps. So I'm going to glue this under and right on that little, by that corner right there. So at an angle and then down. Got a little too much. Try to get that straight. I'm going to use my micro PN here. I'm going to trace that line, this line, and then I'm going to create a line from this corner to that line. There isn't one yet, so I'm going to make one there. Now you can see what I've done is I've created this banner there. It's going to go off the side of my paper, so I will cut off whatever's left over when I'm done. Probably right about there. And let's look at our sentiments. Let's do spring has sprung. Let's do spring is in the air. Now I'm going to put that up on foam, but before I do that, I have cut out, using the little butterfly die here, I have cut out several butterflies, and I cut them out in spring colors. These are pearl, from the pearl cards we've had in several of the other collections, and they are so cute. So, but I'm going to put those on wires, and then I'm going to put another butterfly on the back to give it stability. I'm not sure which ones I'll use, so I want to use a wire for each one. This is just some really thin jewelry wire, and I don't know what gauge it is, but it's very soft. Make sure you don't cut these with your scissors. Cut them with your wire snips. So let's see about how long I want to do that. I'm thinking about 1.5 inches wire for each one, so you can adjust it as you go. And they can be varying lengths, so that would actually make it prettier. Now to make it easier to glue these down, I think I'm going to take the very end and twist it around in a little bit of a loop. And you can do this with your needle nose, with your round nose pliers if you have any. So can you see that? Just to make it a little easier to glue it to the back of the butterfly. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to put foam tape under here and then have these coming out from behind this. Now if you notice, my design is really heavy on this side because these flowers are heavier. So this, the fact that I have this over here balances some of that, but I think I want to put more of the butterflies like on that side. I'm going to be using the Quick Grip by Beacon. I'm just going to put a dot on the back of each one of these and then secure these down. And another thing, by the way, if you want, you could make antennas with wire as well. So I could put little antennas on them. Let me show you before I continue. Just a little piece of wire, fold it in half, and then you could curl the tops of these over to make antennas as well. I know you can't see that. Hold on, I will show you a picture. So I just folded that in half, and then I curled both ends over. So now what I could do is to glue that on the back here and give him a little bit of antennas. Let's zoom in here. I'm going to hold one down. Whoops. Hold it down and put some glue right in the middle there. put the antenna right in the center. And then add one of these wires for a stem down at the bottom. Now that is going to have to set. I'm pushing that down into the glue. That's going to need to set. And I can do that for each. Now I can't even pick it up to show it to you at the moment, so I have this on my non-stick mat. I will do one more and then I will go off camera. So I'm going to, now that I'm zoomed in, I'm going to do another one of those to show you the antennas here. Just cut a little piece here, and so this is probably barely more than an inch right there. Excuse all the ink on my fingers. Okay, bend that in half, give it a little pinch, and then on each one of these ends, you don't have to, but you can curl these under. So what I'm going to do is hold the V right here, there. And now I can just take these and curl the ends under. Like that. If you want, you curl both ends under. And you won't see the backs of these from the front of the card. However, I have extra butterflies that I can glue across the back if I want, and that will also help it to seal my little wires in place. So I'll finish all these off camera. My butterflies are all dry, and I did use the dies, the little floral dies here. This is the medium one, and then I punched that out. And so here's the small one. So you do the large ring for the background, and then you run it with this inside piece to get that, and it also punches out this. So let me zoom in again, and I have a little floral set here. So I'm going to take this piece, lay that on this upside down, use my little ball stylus, and I'm going to just push down on the petals in a circular motion, just kind of burnishing those to give it some depth. Flip it over and then push down in the center and do the same thing. Okay, so that's there. We need to find the match, get this matched up. There we go. So once we get that matched, we're going to glue that on. These are the Newtonic Studios tweezers, and they are really nice. The little fine tip. Okay, the last thing is I want to put a dot of glue in the middle. All right, and then I'm going to put this in and offset it a little bit. Like that, and push down. Now you can put whatever you want in the center of your flower. I did use the Nuvo drops that came with this kit, so you can see I've got this one here. Now I'm going to let those set up, and while those are drying, I'm going to take my banner here and the glitter marker in golden ochre and give it a edge on the bottom here and on that edge. So it also creates a shadow effect there, but it gives it some more glitter. Okay, now when everything is dry, we are going to assemble this card. Okay, it's time to assemble the rest of this. So I'm going to move this off because it tends to be a little glary. And I have extra little butterflies that I have cut off. So I was thinking that although my card, it's almost monochromatic in that it's just the gold colors, is that I think that these butterflies will give it just a tiny pop of color that I'm really going to like. Okay, so I'm thinking this needs to go here, and that these may go here. We will see. Let's see if make sure these are not too long. They're not. Okay. Let me do this. I'm going to get some foam. Okay. I'm going to trim this up so that it fits better on my project. Okay, now I'm thinking my flowers are going to be down here because I want to balance the heaviness of the flowers there. So I'm going to put these down here. Perfect. And the butterflies will be coming out from behind here. So what I'm going to do is get these situated. Trying to get those to stick to the foam. They're not really sticking well, so. Now, these are not sticking super well, so what I'm going to do, I've got them about where I want them, but I'm going to add a little bit of permanent glue to them to make sure that they really stick well. I think it might work better if I open this up. Let me just turn that one in a little bit. There we go. All right, now I'm going to add glue to these. And I think I might pop this one up. And put this one underneath. I have these little tiny butterflies here, and I'm going to use the embellishment tool here. Boy, look at that glare. And I'm going to put a couple of the butterflies randomly sprinkled here. And I might, on this one, make it go, making the wings kind of go off the paper on that one. I'm wondering, I'm just going to pick this up and move it around and look at it. Might put one on a flower. Okay, very good. Now because I added all that permanent glue, the foam, although I added the permanent glue, the foam strips are going to help that to stay in place while it's firming up. So that is my card. And once this really sets, I can adjust these little wires as much as I want. So love it. And I love that the little pop of color in the butterflies really helps to bring out the idea of spring. And you could always fold the wings up on your butterflies by putting your bone folder right in the middle, like that, and just bending it. And then you can glue the center of that to your card. So, for instance, like down here. So stay tuned and I will show you some of the other things that I have made with this kit. Okay, so this one, I love this. Now, I've been doing more with the watercolor look ever since I started playing with Nuvo shimmer powders. This is what they look like. You just kind of lightly tap and get some color and then spritz it with water and it just turns into these beautiful bursts of color. So I had done this on the watercolor page and then I cut that watercolor page up. Let me show you. So I cut it into strips and I glued the strips onto black cardstock. So there's actually basically a valley in between these two where the black cardstock is showing through the cut up watercolor paper. And then I used that banner twice and I used the flower dies in there and the Nuvo drops in the center of these, and I did two different sayings on there. Nuvo drops in the corners, and I just think it looks really great. And I'm not used to using black in spring cards, but I think that turned out really well. This one that I'm going to show you here is my favorite of all the projects, and I really love how this turned out. So I used the Nuvo cards, and I used the gold foil cardstock to cut out the springward. Hard to see, but if you look right in here, you could see that I used the die to cut out vellum. So I have underneath here is a whole swatch of vellum. And then I have the layering of the flowers here that I've colored, and the smaller flowers I use the gold sequins that's in the kit, and I use that the gold thread that I have in my own stash. And these are leaves. They're they're Tonic Studios, but they're from a different set. So I am really happy with how this one turned out. I love it. I think it's delicate and so pretty. Let me show you the dimension there. So if you want to see a tutorial on how to make this card, let me know in the comments down below, and I will make a separate video just for this card. Thank you everyone for watching. I think this has been a wonderful project to play with.